Hello and welcome to another edition, the first edition for 2021 of the Morning Update live on NTN. I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching on-air, online residents right here in St. Lucia, St. Lucians in the diaspora, and well-wishers globally looking to keep abreast as to what's happening here on island. Good morning to you all. My name is Jessie Leonce, as mentioned, and we're here to bring you the latest developments coming from the government of St. Lucia. I hope you had a safe, enjoyable holiday weekend, New Year holiday weekend, but we're back to business, and here's to hoping 2021 is productive, is progressive as well, and enjoyable, much the same with friends and family around us all. We have an update on the COVID-19 situation here on island. I'm going to bring that to you in just a moment. St. Lucia records cases number 341 to number 353. We're also going to let you know the number of recoveries registered to date as well coming into the new year. Diplomatic relations between St. Lucia and the Republic of France deepen with a commitment to combating climate change. We have the French ambassador presenting his credentials. Also, we'll be speaking on the reopening of school. We have an update from the Ministry of Education speaking on the second term for 2020-2021 academic year, the options that are available to the various institutions, primary and secondary, in terms of managing the reopening this year. We'll also let you know if you have an infant, a toddler, how things will be being managed in terms of daycares and preschools as well. Also, the Make It Happen Foundation donates to the St. Lucia, the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, as well as the St. Lucia Fire Service. We have a report with the Make It Happen Foundation, as well as hearing from the Royal St. Lucia Police Force and the Fire Service expressing thanks for this donation to assist the the servicemen overall in being better equipped to serve the nation. And finally, the Consulate General of St. Lucia in Martinique, through the Department of External Affairs, has facilitated the donation of Christmas gifts to the pediatric unit of the Owen King EU Hospital. We hope you are adhering to the protocols continuing into the 11th of January, and we do hope that you're also continuing to adhere to the infection prevention guidelines that have been established by the health authorities. We continue to be confronted with COVID-19, and as we bring you these latest developments, please be reminded, as per the government of St. Lucia's word, that it is important that we put up a good front against fighting in this pandemic. We have the details to these stories and more coming up on the other end of this break. Do stay with us.
She's been watching, waiting, wondering when the sands of time will give way to a tide of change, and for yesterday and today to become a new tomorrow, for a time when her sun can kiss the cheeks of your loved one and her stars can twinkle in her honeymoon skies, when her earthly embrace will reassure and calm your soul, and her unique view can change your whole perspective. Proudly, she has risen to meet new challenges and to provide safe harbor to all who reach her shores. For her hopes and dreams still stand, shoulder to shoulder, a precious reminder of experiences yet to come. So, wherever your moments and memories take you, let her sense of adventure set you free. She is St. Lucia. Let her inspire.
Thank you so much for staying with us. St. Lucia records cases number 341 to 353 of COVID-19 over the holiday weekend. A special good morning to you. If you're just joining us, we'd like to welcome you. Well, that statement coming from the Department of Health and Wellness as at December 31st at the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Thursday, December 31st, 2020, received confirmation of 13 new cases of COVID-19. This brings the total number of cases diagnosed in country to date to 353. All 13 cases are St. Lucian nationals, and these individuals hail from the various districts: Dennery, Castries, Vieux Fort, Babonneau as well, and one case from the Labrie district. All of these individuals had been assessed and tested for COVID-19 and placed in quarantine by healthcare practitioners pending the receipt of their results. Now, 5 of these cases, they are contacts of individuals who've been previously diagnosed with COVID-19. Investigations are currently underway, and they're being undertaken to determine the possible existence of an epidemiological link for the other 8 cases as well. Arrangements have been made for the placement of these individuals into isolation. Of course, they are being cared for. To the ministry also, before we had the long holiday weekend, did register 11 recoveries of COVID-19. And so while we have individuals being diagnosed, there is a nice healthy revolve of individuals being recovered from COVID-19 as well. And this brings the total number of active cases currently in country to 64. The Ministry of Health and Wellness, through the reports from the contact tracing team, they are noting the increased transmission of COVID-19. And, you know, at the beginning of this new space where we began to enjoy a degree of a reduction, a subtle reduction in restrictions for COVID-19, this was on the basis, the merit of us registering reduced cases. Remember that back in early October, going into November there, late October, mid-October going into November, we had a spike in cases, and that was able to, there was some control toward the end of November going into December, and the hope by the CMO was that we'd be able to maintain the gains that we had made in terms of the reduction in the cases. But now there is a concern. There is a concern of the increased transmission of COVID-19 within the holiday season, and this can be associated to the increased movement of persons, social activities during the first 3 weeks of December 2020. We know the hustle and bustle of this time of year, persons purchasing items, going into stores and what have you to get their stuff for the holiday season. The ministry has indicated that as much as they anticipate increased transmission risk associated with the festive season, they continue to remind the public to adhere to the infection prevention recommendations at this time. Reports have been received of large parties and other social gatherings during the past Christmas week, and similar plans for the upcoming New Year's celebrations. And that was what we just realized this past weekend. While we wish everyone an enjoyable celebration, we advise that safety be the priority for you and your family. That was the Ministry of Health and Wellness just admonishing the general public that while we are celebrating and we're in the festive season, we're enjoying ourselves, things are still a bit laid back. We have individuals who's still on vacation right now, who's still in that festive mood, that you continue to put at the forefront the safety of your friends and family. The Ministry of Health and Wellness remains committed to maintaining all efforts to protect the health and well-being of its citizens. So that is the word there from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. 13 new cases of COVID-19, all St. Lucian nationals. And we also had 11 recoveries as well going into the new year. Hopefully we get an update from the Ministry of Health and Wellness today or tomorrow as to the number of recoveries, possible new cases for this past weekend. We have an update coming from the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Gender Relations and Sustainable Development on the reopening of school, the second term for the 2020-2021 academic year. That's coming up in just a moment. But first, diplomatic relations between St. Lucia and the Republic of France deepened with a commitment to combating climate change. We have a report. Take a look.
Ambassador-designate of the Republic of France to St. Lucia, His Excellency Jacques-Henri Yils, expressed his commitment to working with St. Lucia in a number of priority areas. The ambassador, who on the 22nd of December 2020 presented letters of credence to Governor-General His Excellency Sir Emmanuel Neville Snack, highlighted priority areas of collaboration, including finance, developing sub-regional cooperation between OECS member states and the French territories of the Caribbean, climate change with a view of establishing the best ways of building co-finance projects focused on the environment, green energy, the fight against sargassum seaweed, waste management, smart digitization, and water treatment, to name a few.
Security and defense will be an important field of my mission as well. As you may recall, we had a temporary maritime agreement in November between the St. Lucian Home Affairs Minister and the Vice Admiral commanding our forces in the Caribbean. Our ambition is to perpetuate and enrich this agreement so that in case of a security or natural disaster crisis, we could, without delay, act together to work on its consequences. On security matters, combat against terrorism, drug trafficking, and illegal immigration is our common goal.
Collaboration in the areas of education and culture are also on the agenda of the newly appointed French ambassador. Governor General of St. Lucia, His Excellency Sir Emmanuel Neville Snack, expressed gratitude to the government and people of France for their support, especially during these unprecedented times as the world continues to fight the COVID-19 pandemic.
Despite our grief, we are floating on a good wave which can change lives forever. So let us not miss this opportunity to change generations. The people of St. Lucia would no doubt wish me to thank France for her readiness to help, as demonstrated by the provision of 40 beds and mattresses to the OKEU hospital. And of course, many other matters. She can be assured of our readiness to add our voice to hers in the councils of the world.
St. Lucia and the French continue to share a long mutually beneficial relationship, with the French recently coming to St. Lucia's aid, providing much-needed supplies and equipment as the island combats the spread of COVID-19. From the Government Information Service, I am Janelle Norville.
Thank you for that report, Janelle Norville from the GIS. We appreciate that report, that update coming from the Governor General's residence on the French ambassador presenting his credentials. We are due for a break this morning, but just to let you know, our thoughts and prayers are with the nationals, the residents of St. Vincent and the Grenadines at this time. We know after decades of lying dormant, the volcano there in the north of the island, the La Soufrière volcano, is active right now. It has begun spewing lava and could erupt any time. We know that the residents there are being asked to evacuate. Our thoughts and prayers are with you at this time, and we do hope that, despite what we're seeing, that everyone remains safe at this time and individuals are brought to safety as soon as possible. Stay with us. We have more updates coming up. Primarily the reopening of school. We're talking what we'll obtain for the second term 2020-2021 here in St. Lucia. Stay with us.
St. Lucia ka registre ve min corona ek I ka fe mouvement ek an chay vitesse tan chaque canef ka kouye pour vigilance publique la fe wolo parler en place publique kon bolanme, base, ti boutique, changer, distance sociale, 6 pieds, hot yon a lot. I ka travay tan, si ou senti ko pa cordial, quarantine ko, patwe en contact epi lot, en ka ou te toape exposé. Si an ekouye, free 11 obe n'importe clinique yo pou yo. Le pays a dimi à clé, ça veut dire les supermarkets, pharmacies et puis ATM, yo accessible avant c'était souhait. Pays à clé en plein Ça vle di tout bagay fermé à 24 heures. Servi protocole comme sorti par bureau indication santé. Nous tout ensemble, ça sauve vermine corona. Si nous tout servi Jidla à toutes les.
Together let us win this war. Say to shall be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
Thank you so much for staying with us. This is the Morning Update live on NTN. We're now hearing from the Ministry of Education on the reopening of schools, second term 2020-2021 academic year. Many persons are wondering, there are some who are excited at the return to school for their students, their Christmas wishes coming true. There are some who are naturally concerned as to how this will pan out, considering us registering increased cases and the concern globally and generally with this pandemic. We've heard from the Ministry of Education. They put out a statement. They've presented an overview for the reopening of school, outlining the very stringent measures that have been put in place for the reopening here on island. And this is all, of course, based on the advice of the Ministry of Health and Wellness. So just to let you know, school is reopening for all school personnel today, Monday, the 4th of January 2021. Students will report from January the 11th, 2021 as per the school's schedule. The department remains committed to the health, safety and educational attainment of all. Consequently, we will continue to monitor the situation, taking into consideration the fluid nature of this pandemic. And just to list the systems of operations for the reopening, the department proposes the reopening of school for all students in the second term of this academic year. All educational institutions will operate from Monday to Friday based on the established school hours. Planning and preparation are to be incorporated within this instructional program. There are two options that have been laid out for institutions here on island. The first option, which is all small school populations, as per the September 2020 reopening, will operate using the whole school approach. So with institutions that have a small school population, the population is about 400, 500 children, they could reopen using the whole school approach. The second option is schools that have perhaps multiple classes per grade, 1,000 students, 800 students. The schools that are on the alternate days, the system will ensure that students get at least 3 days of face-to-face instruction per week or per cycle, and this will be supplemented using the distributed learning model. Note that where possible, students of kindergarten, grade 6 and Form 5 shall have face-to-face instruction for the entire school week. The department's goal is to ensure that there is full integration of all students by February 1st, 2021, based on the guidance of the Department of Health. Sporting activities are limited to small group physical engagements and non-contact sporting activities. Additionally, mass crowd gatherings are not allowed. Please note that all the protocols must be adhered to even within the school setting. And furthermore, janitors are to report from the 28th to the 31st of December 2020 for preparation of the schools. And so the Ministry of Education has also listed an overview of the week 4th to 8th January, that is this week, of the preparations and even the start of school in some cases for some of these institutions. And this includes the early childhood education, primary education, as well as secondary school education. We know from today there will be sensitization of the education sector. The teachers, the faculty, the administrators will be getting an understanding of how to deal with the reopening under these circumstances. And of course, it's not unique. It's not something that is new. We dealt with this situation last year, September 2020. This week we have Tuesday, Wednesday. Educators will meet with the CMO. There's school planning, instructional overview of the school-wide operations. Heads of schools will be meeting, synergizing, seeing how best they could help each other out, I'd imagine. The needs assessment of students, looking at the gaps that children are experiencing in terms of their development, their educational learning, and so on. Thursday and Friday, we have psychosocial support initiatives being facilitated through counselors, school planning, instructional overview, school-wide operations for the year. So these plans are being laid out this week. We have grade level meetings as well. Depending on the class that your child is in, will they need to do assessment? Will they need to prepare for common entrance this year? So all of these things are being taken into consideration. We know that activities on the school premises by all external agencies for this period are on hold. The large group sporting activities are on hold. Staff members, upon returning to the school premises, must adhere to the established protocols. All mass crowd events are on hold. Adaptation of the instructional plan should include teacher engagement being done in collaboration with the district education officer and sanctioned by the chief education officer. Quite a thorough outline of the plans by the education sector to ensure the health and safety of everyone involved. And we're talking about the teachers, the students, the auxiliary staff, everyone that is involved in the education sector, ensuring their protection while the business of education gets underway into this new year. Hopefully, in a subsequent broadcast, we can bring on the Chief Education Officer to speak to us on how these plans have been rolled out this week going into the start of the new term with the kids coming back to school from the 11th of January. As I understand it, quite a few daycares and preschools will be resuming their activity this week. I believe it is the 6th of January 2021. I know that there are quite a few of the schools that are preparing ahead of time to welcome the tiny tots back into their classrooms and into their nursery spaces. So that work is ongoing as well. You will recall that we had an interview with the South Louis Community College Communications Officer, Mrs. Nathalie Jolie Fanis, and she did update us as to their plans. They will be continuing with the online learning platform because it's worked very well. And as compared to other institutions, this tertiary institution has a population that is so large so that logistically it would be problematic to have all of these students in terms of going to the various classes on the campus. It would pose, sort of a quagmire for the faculty and the administrators in terms of dealing with that situation while confronted with the pandemic. So they are continuing with the online learning at the Arthur Lewis Community College. Continuing with the updates this morning, the Make It Happen Foundation donates to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force and the St. Lucia Fire Service. This 2021, the police officers and firefighters will be getting a bit more fit with this additional equipment that they have received from this foundation. So take a look at the report and what they've donated. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force and the St. Lucia Fire Service are the beneficiaries of the largest one-time donation made by the Make It Happen Foundation. Commercial-grade fitness equipment valued at $220,000 has been donated to 10 stations to support the welfare of servicemen and women. The 20 items of gym equipment will be distributed equally among the stations. Lady Raquel Dubele-Chasney is the founder of this charitable organization.
COVID has shown us all how invaluable our frontline workers are, and as we all know, physical fitness is a critical attribute for our fire and police officers in particular. So we are very pleased that we were able to have raised sufficient funds from the proceeds of last year's Officers' Ball, held in December, to be able to purchase and donate such gym equipment. We are aware that the equipment will be well used and used by a large number of officers, and we therefore purchased top-of-the-line quality elliptical machines by Precor and Total Gyms, which we are advised should last at least 20 to 25 years each if taken care of.
Mrs. Dubele-Chasney adds that the donation represents 500 patrons of the last Officers' Ball, as well as companies from the business sector who pledged their support. This is one of many fundraisers undertaken by the Make It Happen Foundation for several worthy causes. Commissioner of Police Severin Moshere expressed gratitude on behalf of the force and the fire service.
I want to take the opportunity again to thank the Make It Happen Foundation, and more so Mrs. Chasney, because I know you've worked very hard to ensure that we get those gyms, and I can assure you that both fire and police will keep this gym not just for 25 years, but for 50 years. And we look forward to your continued support and the support of Corporate St. Lucia in assisting both the Royal St. Lucia Police Force and the St. Lucia Fire Service.
This recent donation of the Make It Happen Foundation brings the total number of stations to be gifted gyms on island to 14, including the police training school located at La Toc. For the Government Information Service, I am Jessie Leonce reporting. And that report there from the Make It Happen Foundation, donating to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force and the St. Lucia Fire Service to get the officers and the firefighters better equipped coming into 2021. Just a quick update. We have the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Commission delivering some EC $2.16 million worth of supplies to the member states as they continue the fight against COVID-19. The Commission will now be able to deliver even more with a donation of $100,000 from the government of the Federate of the Republic of Brazil. The funds have been earmarked for the procurement of PCR tests. So there are still institutions, agencies globally that are contributing, countries that are helping each other to fight against COVID-19 amidst this pandemic that we're being faced with. So Brazil there, we thank you on behalf of the government and people of St. Lucia for this recent donation to the OECS. We are due for a break. When we come back, the Consulate General of St. Lucia in Martinique, through the Department of External Affairs, has facilitated the donation of Christmas gifts to the pediatric unit of the Owen King EU Hospital. Stay with us for that story coming up in our final segment of the update.
What does coronavirus have in common with love? Both are highly contagious. Spread love, not the virus. Like you, COVID-19 loves a lime. Beach, river, or fed. Coronavirus is like these people who track every lime just to invade. The best way to put off invaders? Cancel the lime. Spread love, not the virus. Keep you and your crew corona-free. Live to lime another day.
Together let us win this war. St. Lucia be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We're now down to our final segment of the morning update live on NTN. We've gone through quite a bit of information, updates coming from the government of St. Lucia, from the Ministry of Education in terms of the reopening of school for the second term of the academic year 2020-2021. An update from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, St. Lucia recording 13 new cases of COVID-19 before we entered the new year, as well as 11 recoveries. Hopefully we get an update from them today to find out what transpired over our holiday weekend, our New Year holiday weekend. And also the Make It Happen Foundation donating to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force and the St. Lucia Fire Service. An early Christmas present it was to the police officers and firefighters, receiving that equipment to better assist them in terms of staying fit going into the new year. And of course, diplomatic relations between St. Lucia and the Republic of France deepening with a commitment to combating climate change. The Consulate General of St. Lucia in Martinique, through the Department of External Affairs, facilitated the donation of Christmas gifts to the pediatric unit of the Owen King EU Hospital. The gifts were donated to the E-Club Caribe Association, a humanitarian organization based in Martinique. The Foreign Service Officer and Desk Officer for Europe, Shanika Plummer-Antoine, speaking on behalf of the Government of External Affairs, says while COVID-19 has had detrimental effects on the livelihoods of many, it also highlights the significance of family. Take a look.
In this regard, Christmas is a time for sharing, a time for giving, a time for caring, and also a time for loving. Many families this Christmas, in particular parents, will not be able to afford to give their children a present. However, this token, I believe, will be able to bring joy and happiness to many children.
So that clip there on the donation of toys for Christmas to the pediatric unit of the Owen King EU Hospital. That's all the time we have for now. We'd like to thank you so much for watching. There's some quick updates coming to you in the morning updates live on NTN, letting you know what is happening coming from the government of St. Lucia. As you go on your business into the new year, we are still being confronted with COVID-19. No, we did not leave it in 2020. We still must play our part, and I think, the reality of it is that the pandemic takes the shape that we give it, and so continue to adhere to the protocols, continue to take on the recommendations for hygiene so that we can fend off COVID-19 as best as possible. All nationals contracting COVID-19 in the last update we received from the Department of Health and Wellness, 13 new cases before the start of the new year as at December 31st, 2020, and 11 recoveries. And so there is also a concern on the part of the Office of the Department of Health and Wellness that there is a spike in cases, and we need to all play our part to ensure that we can bring those figures down. We have shown it, we have done it, we have been in very enviable positions in the past as it pertains to this pandemic, and we can come back to this more than ever before. Let us all play our part to ensure that we can reduce these figures, reduce the risk of transmission in our population, and going into 2021, have a bright and prosperous one. I'd like to thank you so much for watching and keeping updated on watching NTN. My name is Jessie Leon, signing off for now. Do stay tuned to us for more programming during the course of today. Goodbye.